about the massive subject right now, that is Neymar Jr., and we are going to be finishing the video discussing Coutinho and his Copa America hopes. Brazil play later on tonight. There is lots to discuss, and it's coming up for you. Let's do this. And if we start first and foremost with that goalkeeping news that has been going on now for the past few days between Jasper Cillessen and also Neto coming in from Valencia. And this story sort of came out of nowhere a few days ago because obviously throughout the summer so far we have been really trying to offload Jasper Cillessen. He's in search of more game time. He wants to go somewhere and be the #1 goalkeeper. And it did seem as though we're going to try and get a fee around 20-25 million euros for him. But as of right now, it actually looks as though we could go down the route of doing a swap deal on this particular one. With Cillessen wanting first team football, he wants that #1. Valencia will give him that role, but in return, Barcelona could include Neto into the deal. And basically, the structuring right now of this deal seems to all be centered around balancing the books for Valencia, particularly there with regard to financial fair play. Because essentially, what is going to happen, according to reports, is Valencia are going to sell us Neto on June the 30th before the end of the financial year in football terms with regards to financial fair play. And then on July the 1st, we are then going to sell Cillessen their way for exactly the same fee. So basically, overall, it'll be a complete swap deal. We will buy technically Neto on June the 30th, and then when it turns July, when we enter the new football year, we will then sell Cillessen to Valencia for the same fee, which makes it a basic swap deal. Barcelona, I have to say right now, seem very, very reluctant to actually put their faith within somebody like Iñaki Peña coming through there. I believe, certainly, I know many of us do, believe that he could step in and become our second goalkeeper, but apparently we want to bring somebody in with some experience at the top level, and it's believed, of course, that Neto is happy to come to Barcelona. Many players are, of course. He's happy there to accept less of a first team role in the team. He won't have as much football, and of course, he is going to have less game time. And to be fair, since joining Valencia from Juventus back in 2017, Neto has established himself very, very well in La Liga. He's become a very safe pair of hands, very dependable for Valencia, and was actually, of course, at the heart of their success right the way through the season, finishing in the Champions League places. And he certainly has a good reputation right now in Spain. He's currently 29 years old. He's going to turn 30 within the next few weeks in the middle of July. And obviously for a goalkeeper, that's not really the end of the world. But the biggest issue for me, and the biggest issue that I have with this entire deal, is basically, according to Rack 1, we are going to be doubling Neto's current wages that he earns at Valencia. And that for me is not really acceptable. I don't really understand why we're going down that road, especially here since we're swapping Cillessen for Neto, and still then we're not saving anything. We're not gaining anything. All we're going to be doing once again is spending big wages and bringing somebody in there like Neto. Surely we could have just sold Cillessen for good money. We were looking at a good transfer fee from 15 to 25 million euros, which would have been really, really good for us this summer, given the fact we're really trying to raise those funds. We also then would have saved on Cillessen's wages, and somebody like Iñaki Peña, he would not have been earning much at all, and he could have quite easily, I feel, been the second goalkeeper, played the Copa del Rey matches, because what we're doing right here is we're sacrificing that transfer fee for Cillessen. Neto is coming in, and I've got no problem at all with the quality that he has. He's a very, very good goalkeeper. But what I'm saying is here, do we need somebody that good to just play the Copa matches? Do we need to spend that much money to have somebody there in a secondary role? That remains to be seen. But this deal, according to many of the local sources in Barcelona, is getting closer and closer. And then, of course, there is the subject of Neymar Jr. Massive, massive news now. Of course, this started out in France with L'Equipe, but it's actually worked its way into Spain. Of course, MD Sport, all the local newspapers are really having a field day on this one, and it actually went as far yesterday as a big report from Brazil as well. MD came out this morning with a big cover, Operation Neymar, and according to MD, Barcelona are keeping a very, very close eye right now on the Neymar situation. They want to know, is he for sale? Are PSG really willing to let him go? And they're just seeing really how this develops now in the coming weeks. They want to see if Nasser Al Khelaifi really is open to letting Neymar leave. If that is something that is on the table this summer, MD say that Barcelona will then decide whether or not to go down that route. They're certainly open to the idea. They're certainly open to the idea of Neymar returning. And MD say that if Barcelona do want to bring him back this summer, there's already a few conditions that would be on the table that Neymar himself would have to accept. They say basically that Barcelona would expect Neymar to lower his salary demands, and also that he must withdraw his ongoing lawsuit against Barcelona, and particularly against the current board. Because right now, following him leaving the club in 2017, there still is an unpaid loyalty bonus in the favour of Neymar, which could result there in Barcelona paying around 26 million euros if that happens to be resolved, and Barcelona would essentially just want that to go away. So maybe in all this, Neymar, of course, reportedly desperate to return, maybe Barcelona will try and work it in their favour so that Neymar may lower those demands and may save us on that loyalty bonus. Sport go with the cover this morning of Neymar hot and Griezmann cold. And it should be noted here, though, that although Sport are very much behind Neymar, they're saying, of course, much like MD, there is a chance that he could come back. Sport have always been one of the papers who've been eerily silent on the Griezmann situation, and I think here they're only basing the fact that Griezmann is not really on the agenda right now on Bartomeu's words yesterday, where he said that we haven't spoke to Griezmann, but as we said yesterday, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're not going to sign him once July hits. And finally here, I want to talk about that big story that came out of Brazil last night with regard to Neymar, and it came in the form of Globo Esporte, often reasonably reliable when it comes to Brazilian players, and they also follow suit from those Spanish sources in also saying here that a deal between Barcelona and PSG, the initial discussions have taken place. The return of Neymar, it has been discussed, and they also go on to say that right now a number of Barcelona players could be used to pay and lower that transfer fee of Neymar, because according to those reports in France, like we discussed yesterday, PSG would be after around 222 million euros for Neymar, but obviously Barcelona are not going to be paying that. They're going to maybe offer some players in exchange plus some cash, and those players right now, according to Globo Esporte, that have been linked with a swap deal are Ousmane Dembele, Ivan Rakitic, and also Samuel Umtiti. Those are the three players right now that have been outlined as maybe players that could be used within the deal there, plus some cash. There was no Coutinho there that was mentioned, which for me is very interesting indeed, especially given PSG have shown an interest in him in the past. And finally, the final report here that I'm going to bring you on the Neymar situation is ESPN, who can also be reliable on their day when it comes to Barcelona, and certainly here on the Neymar situation. And ESPN are basically saying right now, as are all the other sources, that Barcelona are thinking of it. And I think we have to accept right now that it is a genuine possibility that Neymar could return. I'm not saying it's going to happen, I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, but I just think right now all these reports mean that Barcelona would consider it if it was on the table. And according to ESPN, a high-ranking source within Barcelona, within the club itself, has actually told ESPN that a transfer could be done, but it won't be simple. But quite clearly there, Barcelona, those doors day by day, as this progresses, they're just opening a bit further. And finally, guys, in this news round of today, the Brazilian edition, I do want to finish here by talking about Felipe Coutinho, somebody, of course, whose future at Barcelona remains in the balance. And according to Sky Sports in the UK, which with Premier League clubs, they do tend to be pretty reliable, according to them, Coutinho would not consider a move to Manchester United this summer. The reason for that is they're one of the Premier League clubs who maybe could afford the big transfer fee that we are looking for, but Coutinho himself wouldn't want to go there because of his past club, Liverpool. Out of respect for them, he doesn't want to join their great rivals, Manchester United, this summer. But on Coutinho, I just want to talk about him because, of course, later on tonight, Brazil do face Venezuela in their second Copa America match, with Coutinho currently joint top goal scorer at Copa America so far, following his brace in the opening round of games there, and he did play well in that opening game against Bolivia. And I really want to see, basically, how does Coutinho follow it, that kind of display and those kind of goals there, because I'm really hoping tonight against Venezuela that he can really follow that up with some good quality performance and an overall display that could really see him have a great tournament here in his home nation for Brazil. Because I think certainly looking at this game tonight, Brazil are definitely going to improve overall following that first game against Bolivia, where they won, of course. They scored 3 goals, but they didn't play tremendously well. I think tonight against Venezuela, we are going to see a better Brazil. We are going to see a more complete performance from them, and that will certainly mean Coutinho in that attacking midfield role. I think again tonight we could see a better display from him, more goals perhaps, and hopefully continuing to be influential in this Brazilian side. And for Coutinho's confidence, for Coutinho's own sake, and of course for Barcelona, I'm really hoping here he can continue that upward trajectory and continue improving on his form. And so that is pretty much it today from me with regard to the news coming out of Barcelona. Certainly things are ongoing. The goalkeeper situation could be done, could be completed, could be agreed within the next few days. I'll keep you updated on that. And of course the Neymar rumours, expect them to continue and continue. We're going to have to wait and see what's said in the next few days and probably the next few weeks. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. I'll see you very soon with more videos. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.